Hey y'all! I'm here today to talk about what you should realistically expect from a coaching experience. So this is kind of a different topic. As you guys know, if you're subscribed to my channel, I kind of just tend to do more of the educational type videos. I'm not really the here, follow me around all day. I don't know, it's just, that's still kind of hard for me. So hopefully you guys like these more kind of just cut and dry educational videos. I'm just kind of sitting in my house, nothing fancy. So this is something that is, there's a lot of coaches out there. This is not getting into a good versus bad coach type of video. It's more of just what I think you should realistically expect from a good coaching experience. And if you don't have these things, maybe you should reevaluate your relationship. And if you do have these things, then more power to you, and you have an awesome coach. All right, so the first thing would be to have the client's best interest as your number one priority. Really can't stress this enough. Doing 18 shows in a year, probably not having the client's best interest as your number one priority. I just made up that number, but you know what I'm talking about. And this is really hard as a coach to turn away people who want to work with you. And I understand that. And it's sad because if people really want to work with me, but they're not in a good position, then I'm not going to say, okay, no, I'm not. Refer to my previous video where you should be before you start prepping, which also, is not just prepping, it's also dieting in general. I really just don't want to jeopardize someone's long-term health and long-term goals just for the instantaneous, okay, let me lose 10 pounds and then we can start reversing. And I understand that that's really, really hard for some people to grasp, and they don't want to, they don't want to do it, and that's fine. But if you're, if somebody comes to you and they're doing, like I said, a ton of cardio, not eating, and they're like, oh, hey, I want to prep. And then I would just be like, oh, okay, cool. That's just not a good idea. And I think if you're looking for a good coach who has your best interests at heart, you should steer away from people who are looking just to make money off of you, or to take you on, oh, you're doing this, I can get you ready in 12 weeks. That's usually a bad sign, and you should look for a different coach. The second point would be education, and I think this is super important also. If you're not getting something out of your coaching experience, whether it be 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 2 years, whatever it is, then you should probably look for a different coach. Now, is every weekly update going to be some crazy revelation that you learn something new? Probably not. But you can take away usually a few things from every time you work with someone to kind of add to your arsenal of knowledge, and that's really important. So if you have a coach that just says, do this because I told you so, or any kind of because I said so type behavior, that's really not good. And I will be honest, there is not an answer for everything that we do. Of course not. It is a science, but it's also an art, and it's also a big trial and error kind of thing. So if you are, obviously, a good coach will try to give the best answer, but sometimes it is just a trial and error type thing. But that is also a sign of a good coach, because if somebody is just telling you, oh, just do this, it's what's worked, maybe that's not working for you. And not that I'm saying that somebody who's doing trial and error is gonna nail it the first time, maybe they don't, but you have to be willing to try something. And that's kind of where that whole customized coaching comes in. If you're working with someone who's just kind of giving you automated responses, automated programs, then you're not going to get that trial and error scientific aspect of the coaching. So taking away something educational from whatever package you purchase is really important, and it's a really good value in a good coach. The next point I want to make is about support. So people who haven't had an online coach, a lot of times are a little hesitant with the kind of online coaching aspect, coach-client relationship. And again, if you have a good coach who, number one, has your best interest at heart and is giving you education through your weekly updates, then you will get good support. Now, I will have people who come to me who have had, kind of the subpar coaching maybe, and they're like, oh, but my coach came to every show, are you gonna do that? Well, if you want customized coaching, if you want updates and these types of things, it's harder when you're kind of running the one-man show over here. I have very few people that I actually consult with to help with my business, and that's because, you know, I try to give my clients the best quality of coaching. And if I just gave out an automated response or an automated program, then maybe I'd be able to go over a show. But just because you went to somebody's show does not mean that you're really supporting their long-term goals. It just means that you were there physically and you can actually support very well in a long distance type of relationship with your client. So yes, it's awesome if somebody can be in person with you, but do not be afraid of the online relationship. It wasn't until very recently that I've had Lane come to a few of my shows, and I did pretty well without him there. And that is, of course, I love him being there, but as a good coach, he coached me well enough that I could, you know, I was okay without him there. It's just kind of like the cherry on top if your coach can come. So my fourth point is on timeliness, and this goes both ways, and just kind of respect of time. So if somebody reaches out to me, I typically have a 24-hour rule is what I say. Of course, there's exceptions. Sometimes I can't get to things right away, but generally speaking, I try to answer all things within 24 hours. And this really surprises a lot of people. I don't know what other coaches do personally. The few coaches that I do know, I'll answer typically within a 24-hour period. But there are apparently coaches who do not answer for weeks at a time, or etc. So, you know, I really try to be timely with things. I try to be timely with programs. If somebody, you know, purchases something, it's typically within a few days that I have everything out to them. And that's because I also ask that my clients respect my time. So, you know, we have either weekly updates during the off season, or if you're in competition prep, you have twice weekly updates, which go over everything that I need to know and that any kind of questions you have. So I ask that all of that is typically contained within the weekly update. And that way I stay timely with things and I can, you know, really work as efficiently as possible. Again, one-man show, so I don't have people that I hire for me. Somebody actually asked me, they're like, oh, I don't know if you answer your emails, but whoever did a really good job. And I was like, no, that was me. So thank you. You know, so a lot of times it has to be, you know, like I put an effort to be timely for my clients, and then, you know, I ask that they respect my time also. So it's kind of a give and take, and if your coach is going like 2 weeks without answering you, that's pretty unacceptable unless something horrible happened. But I see that this is kind of a trend that I've heard from several people. So maybe, I don't know if all these horrible things have happened to all these people, ironically, or if that maybe they're just slower. So another good mark of a coach would be that they answer you in a timely fashion. That hour ratio will look different for everyone. Like I said, typically 24 hours is kind of my rule. You know, 48 typically would be max. Hopefully this video was helpful for either yourself or someone that you know who might not be in the best coaching relationship and kind of need some pointers to figure out who's best for them. To reach out to me, you can go to my website, laurenconlin.com, for all things coaching, consulting, and posing related. I can also steer you in the right direction for a few people that I trust if you do not want to personally work with me and would like referral to anyone else. So hopefully this was helpful, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye.